Wendy Williams just dropped a jaw-dropping announcement that nobody saw coming. Ricky Gervais and Wendy Williams are joining forces, teaming up to finally expose Ellen for who she truly is, and reveal how deeply she was involved in silencing anyone who dared oppose her. Ellen dominated television screens for 19 long years, and throughout that entire run, she reportedly threatened both Ricky Gervais and Wendy Williams behind the scenes. In this video, we're diving deep into how these two are finally breaking their silence and responding.
You know, we haven't seen you really around since the Golden Globes, where
they
you
keep
were
a low profile.
Yeah, well, they attacked you, but they said that you were mean and rude, and you were surprised at that. You were surprised. Let me just read one of the things they thought
I'm
was...
being rude. I'm surprised they attacked me for it, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ricky Gervais took the stage as host of the Golden Globe Awards on 5 separate occasions, spanning from 2010 all the way to 2020. But it was during his final appearance that Ricky did something nobody expected. He called out some of the most powerful figures in the entertainment industry. Every top producer, every respected director, every A-list actor, and every influential music executive sat in that room as Ricky stood up and declared that he knew exactly who among them had ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Keep in mind, this moment happened back in 2020, a full 5 years before the Department of Justice would officially release any details tied to the case. And yet, somehow, Ricky Gervais already knew.
What made you think, you know what, I'm just gonna hammer him? I don't care what the...
Well, I thought, when they said, do you want to host the Golden Globes, all that stuff I said in the show was true. I said, oh, I'm gonna write my own jokes, right? And I thought, who do I pander to? The 200 richest people in the room, or the 200 million people watching at home who aren't winning awards, who aren't millionaires? And it was a no-brainer. I was doing it for them, you know, and I didn't want to, it wasn't set out to hurt their feelings, but it was, if you're going to make it a spectator sport, then you better have something, there better be something in it for the people.
This wasn't even the first time Ricky had taken aim at these very same criminals. In one of his stand-up specials, he went even further, directly calling out the BBC itself, one of the biggest sponsors behind these glamorous award shows. And no matter how hard Hollywood tries to look away, the truth remains impossible to bury. Some of the most powerful people in this industry are horrifying monsters who prey on innocent children. Ricky simply had the courage to connect the dots everyone else refused to see.
The pedo hunter shows, on the other hand, there's usually a company in the crew just in case. I mean, particularly if it's a BBC production. Oh, shut up.
It's not as though Ricky was fearless about it either. He fully understood the price he might pay for his career by speaking out, but unlike every other celebrity sitting in that room that night, he refused to let fear silence him. To Ricky, exposing these predators mattered far more than winning any golden statue ever could. Back then, hardly anyone took him seriously. Most people simply brushed it off with nervous laughter. But if you look closely at the faces of the very people Ricky was calling out, one thing becomes painfully clear. They weren't laughing at all.
Some of the riskiest comedy of your career has been delivered live to millions of people around the world, and a room full of some of the world's most famous film stars and directors and producers. When you were hosting 5 Golden Globe ceremonies between 2010 and 2020, I think, did you set out each time primarily to, puncture the pomposity of that world of celebrity and to expose some of the absurdities and what you saw as the hypocrisies of Hollywood?
Yes, and that got more honed and more targeted and more important and more liberating as I went along. Do I bite the hand that feeds me? Well, the answer is yes. Because who am I doing it for? Am I doing it for the 200 egos in the room, the most privileged people on the planet? Or am I doing it for the 200 million people around the world watching who aren't winning a Golden Globe, who aren't multi-millionaires? Of course I'm doing it for them. I'm the fat bloke on the couch eating potato chips watching this. And I played that card. I shouldn't be there. I purposely played.
Ricky has built a reputation for pushing boundaries with dark, offensive humor. But the moment he spoke Jeffrey Epstein's name aloud, along with the people tied to him, the entire room went dead silent. In the aftermath, Ricky found himself permanently banned from ever hosting the Golden Globes again, and he hasn't stepped foot on that stage since. Then, 5 years later, when the Epstein files were finally released, everything Ricky Gervais had dared to say that night was proven completely true. Flight logs and internal emails uncovered by the Department of Justice revealed that nearly every major studio and production house had some connection to Jeffrey Epstein. Inside several of these very studios, Epstein reportedly posed as a talent recruiter, luring young models and child stars with promises of auditions on his private island, Little St. James. Another fearless voice who never backed down from telling the truth is Wendy Williams, and for that, she was ultimately ultimately forced into a conservatorship because of what she chose to say publicly. When Ellen first announced the end of her talk show, celebrity after celebrity reacted as though the world itself was ending. But Wendy Williams was the only one who stood firmly beside the employees Ellen had been accused of mistreating. She didn't hold back, revealing that Ellen carried a dark side the entire industry had been working hard to keep hidden.
I'm glad that you thanked your Ellen fans, or whatever you call your nation. But 19 years on TV doesn't change your life. It exposes you for the person that you really are. Suzanne, you've been around the block.
Yes, I have been around the block. No, but I've been in this business for a while.
A long time.
I've worked with some all different types of hosts.
Yes.
And there's a lot that goes on.
Behind the scenes.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that all the guests are happy. I was a guest, I wasn't happy. Just saying, Norman. Mm-hmm. And people called me out on it before I was able to say anything about it. Like, oh my gosh, that was... Joelle, you know what I'm saying. You've been around the block.
While Wendy was busy calling out predators and criminals within the industry, everyone else around her was scrambling to protect them and help sweep their crimes under the rug. During an appearance on Ellen's show, Ellen didn't just brush off Wendy's attempt to expose these powerful elites. She actually laughed in her face and issued a threat live in front of the entire audience. You could visibly see the shock ripple across Wendy's expression. She never anticipated Ellen would go so far as to threaten her on national television, even disguised behind a laugh. This single moment is exactly why Wendy later revealed that Ellen had a hidden, darker side. While everyone watching assumed it was just another joke, Wendy understood the truth. She had just received a warning, and Wendy Williams was never someone who scared easily. Later, when she exposed Diddy and other powerful music executives for exploiting young stars like Usher and Justin Bieber, Diddy himself appeared on her show and fired back with a threat of his own, bringing her son into it as leverage. The second Diddy mentioned her son by name, Wendy's entire demeanor shifted instantly. It was the industry's chilling way of telling her to stand down.
Personal, somewhat responsible was Jeffrey Epstein, who committed suicide in jail.
I couldn't even sleep in my room because I've got all Carolyn's artifacts of memories we made. And I said to my son, I said, I can't sleep in my own room. All I see is Carolyn.
Several investigative journalists have already stepped forward, publicly calling out Hollywood for exactly what they've been doing to Wendy Williams behind closed doors. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss any future updates on this story. So what's your honest take on these claims and everything surrounding Ellen DeGeneres? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below and let us know. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the very next video.